know that Alstra wants to do. Because you wanted to talk to the council folk on the ship, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Also, do the council folk that are on this ship know Martin's actual rank?
Probably not, except for Warren, actually.
Okay, so it's just a meeting between Warren,
The three of you guys, yeah.
Renard, and myself. Yeah.
And so as you you go to retrieve Warren, probably like probably less than a day before you're probably gonna make landfall. Warren is as you check the ship, you find him up over near like the back of the ship. He as per your suggestion, he's as you kind of approach him, he you see him take a bucket of fresh water, and he like brings it up over his head, and he dumps it over him, kind of looking up at it as it kind of like soaks his hair and such. And he's wearing trousers, but he currently has his shirt off as he's doing as best of a job as one can do for bathing before any of this happens. He takes up a small dagger, and carefully kind of bringing it up to his face, he begins to kind of shave off some of the extra wild man beard that he's accrued over the past couple of weeks. And his hair is kind of tied back in a loose ponytail, still kind of sopping wet from all of this, and he kind of turns in your direction, like as he's like still kind of shaving. Alstro?
Kestrel? Glad to see you've taken my advice.
Hell, considering I'm already taking the worst advice you've given me in my entire life, I might as well try and make myself look presentable.
I hardly think that's the worst advice I've ever given you.
Yeah, I suppose you're right.
That said, and she approaches him and we're on like the side of the boat.
Yeah.
Right? Like, Perla just leans up against the boat, looking out off into the ocean. I suppose I'm wondering how you're feeling about continuing with the council, given what we're about to do.
Well, let me get something straight here, Alstro. I didn't join the Council of Roman because I had any loyalty to them. I didn't join it because I wanted anything to do with anything they've done. I joined it because you asked me. I joined it because it was something that I could do to fix this broken corpse of a nation that we live in. So I guess my answer to that is How do you feel about it?
Astro takes a deep breath. Ultimately, concern right now is I don't know where the council stands in regards to the rest of the rebellion and what's the move here. I see the point in continuing to lie low. If Connor's gambit work out in the way and the way that we all want it to, all of our forces crumble, and the council itself has some reasoning to keep its distance from being left to rebuild. You know, going and taking the plunge, taking the risk, lessens the chance of this gambit's success.
You sound like you intend to give him a helping hand, considering we're knocking on the door.
Connor's forces.
I don't exactly know the scope of what he's managed to pull. That he's fighting for what it made it sound like he's fighting for. I'm inclined to help him, whether or not he wants my.
I suppose that's where I am too, though he's in turn expressed the fact that he's willing to help me despite the fact he doesn't want to. He very much does not want to help me. So, least I can do is try and repay the favor. That said, whatever clout I've managed to scrape together with the council, I'm planning to ask, or to be given the chance to see if any of the council forces will join this. I'm planning on meeting with Renard shortly, bringing up the idea, and if a small amount of the council's forces are able to help it, not the entirety, there'll be enough left over if things go poorly. A middle ground as opposed to one answer over the other.
So what? You're gonna march out, pledge their forces, and be the fall guy if this all goes south? You sure do love falling on your swords, don't you, Alstra?
I'm not sure I can actually do that anymore.
If you do, I think it just means that a lot of other people would be joining you. So let's avoid swords for now. Maybe knives, broken bottles, other sharp objects.
Things that are survivable?
Yeah.
I suppose certain behaviors can't be unlearned. Quickly, at least. It's a process. That said, as much as the council is as much of the rebellion as the sons and daughters or the Flint's outlaws, so I still nonetheless want to reach out to them. And if nothing else, I can probably get Bear and Ren out of it.
And he kind of finishing trimming his beard, leaving just a short goatee at the base of his chin. He kind of like runs his hand over his face, and I suppose they don't deserve to get left behind in all this. But obviously, it goes without saying that, provided, of course, that Connor doesn't rip my head off with spectral chains or throw me in some sort of prison for the rest of my life, I guess I'm gonna be right here.
Well, he'll have to go through me to get to you, and I don't think I'm willing to exploit my condition if it means it's going to protect you.
He looks at you and kind of shakes his head. You are incredulous.
That I am. So do you want to join me in this meeting with Renard?
I suppose I should.
I believe you and I, and technically Jacob, are the only ones that know he's actually him. That said, if we're going to keep in his good graces, it has to stay that way. Kestrel.
I get you. I'm not gonna go blabbing about anything involving that. Don't you worry. I've already spent enough time on his shit list.
All right, just let me know when you're ready.
Yeah, he dries it off with. So, what's up?
And if you cut yourself shaving, let me know.
And he looks at you and he laughs and says, "Appreciate it, but I've gotten pretty good at doing this." So I've been running a couple of introductions through all of this. What do you think? Hey Connor, I know I haven't seen you in a couple years, and I know I helped kidnap your sister and all that, and I helped capture your parents, and and I guess there was that one time that I killed your mother's Pegasus and all that. But you doing anything later? He says, like, as he throws his tunic on over, and he just shakes his head.
Elstrove bites down on her lips. You know, he doesn't have to know most of that. At least not right out of the gates.
And he looks at you and says, "Do you really think I could just not tell him any of this?"
I suppose not. You could also tell him you've been keeping an eye on him, protecting him.
He puts his hands on his hips and kind of shakes his head. This is going to be a train wreck. Trains don't exist. This is going to be a shipwreck. Well, he says, kind of clapping his hands together and kind of shaking his hair out. He splashes you a bit with some of the water. Let's get this over with.
You know, I don't know what I'm more worried about, this meeting or the one with Connor. It's definitely the one with Connor.
He just agrees silently. And yeah, you go and you'll go and meet up with Nerd. And you guys find a quiet spot in the cargo hold to gather. And after presumably the remainder of the individuals after the area is secure and such, he Reynard crosses his arms and says, I suppose we have a number of things to discuss before we land.
Astronauts.
I assume by the fact that we're heading straight here that you would assist your half brother in one manner or another, yes?
Yes.
And his eyes flicker over to Kestrel, and he says, "And I assume you'll be assisting." And that obvious, eh? And he looks back to you. I see. And he kind of crosses his arms and says, "No, I suppose addressing the most obvious question. To what manner are you intending to involve counsel in such matters?"
As much as they wish to involve themselves. I do know that there's not much left of my own personal branch of the council. But the Council of Vermin is much of a part of what started this movement. I figured I wanted to gauge the organization as a whole's want for involvement, tentative as it might be.
So you wish to set out a rallying cry, see if any of the other reign of agents decide that they want to pledge themselves.
Yes.
Interesting.
At the end of the day, it's their choice to do so or not. And if the council as a whole says no, then it's not an issue I will push. Though I think if truly taken on Arcanon, it's going to be a thing that we're going to need.
Fair enough. He uncrosses his arms, kind of just raises a hand, just in a gesture out to the side, and says, "Ultimately, you don't require my blessing. You know how to contact the other agents. If you make your case convincing enough, then perhaps such a thing will prove more successful than you might realize." But as you know, regardless of the results of this war, I fully intend to make sure that the infrastructure that has been built maintains itself. Though I suppose you already knew.
Astronauts. I assume you'll see to it that scapegoat to all of this.
Such a thing would not be possible.
All right, then. So if it's settled, we'll get in contact with what other Reynards I know and see what they think. I assume, well, if we're meeting the forces at the dock, you'll be gone by that point, or just avoid that in general.
I'll have a number of things to take care of within Dalhurst itself, but before long, my presence will be required elsewhere.
Of course, sir.
I intend to keep tabs on this war in my own manner. But for what it's worth, Alstrom area. I do wish you luck.
Thank you.
And Kestrel. I assume that it goes without saying that you'll support her in her endeavors. And that we shan't have any more problems. Am I right? He gives a bit of a mock salute. Yes, sir. Good. Very good.
So unless there was anything else, I believe that's business settled.
And he nods. I believe so. A curious direction that you've chosen to follow, Alstrom.
As I was telling Kestrel earlier, Connor, despite his not wanting to help me, is deciding to help me regardless, so given what I've done, I believe I at least owe him that much. I'm afraid I've misjudged him, all things considered.
The boy is certainly. He kind of looks up for a moment, finding the right word to say. Determined.
And at the end of the day, these are the forces we have to take back Arcanon. Or just, in general, take Arcanon. I can do what I can to help make this work.
Certainly not the Haventry I expected to be leading the charge. But life is full of surprises.
That it is.
My things will be in order before the end of before the sun sets on the day we arrive. If there's anything else further to bring to before I depart.
I believe everything has otherwise been covered. Though if I think of anything, I'll be sure to let you know.
Very well. And he'll nod, and once again, I wish you the best of luck, Alstrom.
Best of luck, Reynard.
And he with a nod of his head, he turns and he'll leave the cargo room. And Warren looks to you and says, "Well, that went better than expected, I suppose. Though, still, it would do that man wonders not to be so enigmatic and vaguely threatening all the time, I suppose."
I don't think he knows how to turn it off. No, I've literally brought that up to him before, and she shakes her head.
Well, I guess at the very least we've got two members of the Council of Vermin. So far, so good. We can't do worse than this.
And I suppose I have something to do while we wait for our Zodian friends.
Goes without saying that if you need letters brought wherever,
Indeed.
I can make sure that what you need to send out gets where it needs to go.
And that said, I think I might have something to assist you with that.
He raises an eyebrow.
I've introduced you to Darcy, yes?
You're Pegasus, yeah?
I believe he would be far more valuable in your hands than in mine.
Wow. Where he kind of like, where'd you even get it? Actually,
Well, there was a skirmish, and his rider was unfortunately killed in it back in Zodia. Connor was kind enough to make the Pegasus disappear from the records
he
so that I could have it.
he smiles at that one. Now that's unexpected.
Things between Connor and I were on good terms before gestures to herself.
Ah. If you're sure, I ain't gonna say no to a Pegasus.
She nods. But I have something to try out once I get to Legala to see if it's possible.
Don't tell me. Some sort of magic something.
I'm essentially a magic something now.
Ah. Yeah, I guess that's right. Well, I'll take good care of her. Though I suppose that kind of goes without saying, doesn't it?
It does.
Honestly, I'm surprised that she survived this long.
Alistair looks off into the distance. Yes, I am as well. But take good care of him.
I will. And you don't even have to make that one an order.
Boy loves his ponies.
Sure, he does.
I think that's that.
Yeah, pretty much. And if you wanted to touch base, I'm sure you could explain that to Jacob.
Yeah. No, like, going to try and get the council support. Won't probably get all of it, but if we can get some people on board, then that's another thing to add to our forces. And I would probably end up being the leeway between the council and what we're soon probably going to find out as the Blood of Legala.
Yeah, pretty quick here.
Soon.
So if there's anything else that you need to discuss as far as this is concerned, Jacob.
Probably would have given like Alstro at some point like the gist of his conversation with Renard.
Yeah.
And like, well, he's a sad bastard. I guess we're gonna try and fix him.
Yeah. And Alstro did give you that. If you did ask about that particular thing.
Which particular thing?
About the name.
The name Renard or Brinson? Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure. Let's say I did.
And then Alstro gave the thing. He's like, yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
And well then, I wasn't expecting that of all things. But I think given everything, I've been given a wider perspective recently. And that said, I think that should be something dealt with after the war.
Yeah, we'll see about that. Thing is, we might have a bit of a hard time tracking his ass down after the war. He more or less stated his intention is to, well, fucking vanish into the night as soon as everything's said and done.
Well, the Council of Ermin is still going to exist after the war, and I'm still going to be part of it. So, no, needless to say, you have my support in the endeavor.
That's pretty.
Renard, despite everything, he's still a dear friend of mine.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah.
Also, James, you're very quiet.
Oh, well. My bad.
But yeah, I think that's, unless anything else,
No,
we got all
fine.
of our ducks in order.
I think that's pretty much the gist.
Rebel boats, ducks are in order.
As much as they're ever fucking going to be.
Time to get off the boat and have Connor yell at us. Yay!
No. Have Connor yell at you. He's got no reason to yell at me. I've done nothing to him.
That's true.
Except for lead up his parents to the execution block and
Well, if he's not giving Etney shit about that yet, I think I'm also safe. So I stand by what I say. You're the only one who's getting yelled at.
Then you tell his little sister how they died.
Yeah. I mean,
he's gonna
keep
learn
saying shit.
someday.
Yeah. Basically.
Ah,
So I mean, what do you want to say? You're still the one getting yelled at.
ah.
I just get to watch and enjoy.
And yeah, I guess the next thing is pretty much just going to be you guys landing. So we'll just wait until Brent gets back because he'll be back soon. So
I'm trying to figure out where they are right now because 750 something. They were getting shit, and he was getting his stuff.
Yeah, I imagine they'll be back. So it's no rush or anything.
Anybody want have anything else to do, or can I pause the recording for now?
You probably pause the recording.
Head to the boat to Lagala, I would have Sophia to make something. Or
Okay.
in that time, I feel like they would have told Davian that the equipment's ready, and with that, I would ask Nate and Melody to meet me at the changing room. Or
Okay.
some room to change.
And yeah, so the two of them would meet you, and you guys are staying on the Zodian ship at this point, right?
At that, yeah, we are.
Okay.
So,
So yeah, you'd be able to gather somewhere probably down and such. And yeah, so Nate and Melody will meet, and Nate nods as he comes in and he says, "What's up, Davian?"
well, since we're gonna be arriving to a war zone, I think it's best if we are equipped for that.
And Melody raises an eyebrow and in how do you mean? We have all of the equipment that we need.
Well, I guess more of just armor and stuff. Plus a little bit on the fashion sense.
And I feel like the two of them like share a look, and then they look at you.
Just put them on. You'll understand.
All right, and they'll grab their stuff and they'll go in, and Melody will like retire to another spot. Nate probably just changes right the fuck there because he doesn't give a shit.
Yeah, that's fine.
And yeah, a few moments later, as they come back, you can take it from here because you got this.
At that point, the three of them come out and everyone sees. See that?
And Nate kind of Nate like adjusts the braces and stuff, and he says, "Oh, you really outdone yourself, Davian. Some damn fine work."
Well, don't thank me. You can thank Piper and Sophia.
I'll
They
certainly
made it
have to do
both.
that.
Well, they made it both fashionable and very protective. This
And,
will certainly be a very difficult mission.
And as Melody Melody like she like looks down and like examines the clothes, and I'm I'm not used to there not being a hood. She like kind of runs a hand through her hair for a second, but this is really thanks. It's how did
I what?
it fits perfectly. Oh, I suppose that was probably Cass.
Maybe.
And she sighs and well, thanks, Davian. Really.
Of course. You two have been by my side my whole life. Since I became commander. It's only fair that you both have my back through and through.
And Nate kind of claps a hand on your shoulder and he said, "Yeah, and that ain't changing anytime soon, Davian." You have to try a lot harder than that to get rid of me. Not sure
course.
about Lady Floros over here, but he says, kind of gesturing towards her, and she. Look, I still don't know exactly what I'm going to do with that. But for the time being, my blade is yours, as it has been.
Glad to hear it. And with that, he puts on. Well, we have a home to save.
Aye, that we do.
As we just walk to this edge of the boat.
Wind
towards where-
blowing dramatically through your hair.
Whoa. As they look towards the direction that is Legala.
And yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
Nice.
I do really like those outfits. Those are really cool.
Yeah.
They're
the
really
breadsticks.
fucking cute.
Rick picked them.
Yeah.
I just gave the Melody one pants.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's fair. I'm pretty sure that she likes fighting in pants. Oh my god.
Oh, right. I mean, the reference picture that I sent, I think, had like a tiny mini skirt or something.
Yeah,
I
it
just-
was a battle.
in which
it was
in
a
which you
battle
put
skirt.
Melody in a battle skirt, and she's like, "Davian, what are you doing? Why?
Trust me,
Why did
I'm
you
commander.
do this to me?"
I got this.
Nate,
Tiny mini skirts.
Tiny mini skirts.
And then Nate's like, "Why don't I get a tiny mini skirt? What the hell?
Oh my god.
I thought we needed a match. Come on."
I guess I have to wear one too. Don't I?
give this boy a kilt.
I mean, at that point, we're just the Powerpuff Girls.
I mean, you're red, blue, and
Yeah,
green.
you guys do fit that.
Are you
I
the
was
fucking
gonna make
Pokemon
Melody's outfit.
traders?
What?
Yeah.
Uh,
But yeah, there it is.
Shark Boy too.
sharp.
And of
boy.
course,
Gal.
let's also not forget that if considering the brigade and such went on the ship, that does mean that Melody's there now again.
Yep,
That's
you're
fun.
looking at Melody right now. Right
Oh,
now.
I'm aware.
Says something in Fengrongese.
My goodness.
Which translates roughly to hubba hubba. You know, it's a loose translation.
All right, let's get to fucking Legala. It's time.
All right.
Guess who's gonna get yelled at? Also, Brett, you missed right now. Warren and Alstra are both more afraid of you than they are of Reynard right now. Which is saying something.
I didn't hear you. Brian was like opening his mouth at me.
Gotcha. Well, Warren and Alstra are more afraid of you than they are of Reynard right now.
He's a fucking mind controlling dragon. What the hell's wrong with you?
Yes, and you're very mad at us.
I can only kill one of you though.
But you can torture the other one.
But what if I drive her to want to like just not survive anymore? Like I don't know. I can't risk that.
Don't let her. Prison, man. Prison.
I don't think I can
Stick her
stop
in a
her.
box. There's always that plan to stick me in a box forever.
Yeah. Dude, you can put her in stasis.
That's hard.
Revenge?
Plus, she has that like blue stone, so I can't do shit to her.
I mean, you could physically take the blue stone away.
I don't think I can.
Well, not just you, but like, I don't know, you have an army now.
He's a squishy nerd. If he tries.
She'll like hit me or something, and I'll cry.
Take his lunch money. All right.
Oh god.
So as So Connor, probably early on that day, a missive about the fact that they would be landing was sent to you. And so I imagine that it's probably not like a massive group of people that are going to be like here to see them as they arrive. But I know that Etney is going to be there because obviously her second in command is returning. As well as Alstra, whom she has not seen in time. But it's probably just you and whoever else you brought. So who all do you or would you have with you? You said that you were gonna have Wesleyan and Rinzu there, right?
I don't think I need anybody else with me. I don't know if anybody else would want to go.
Is Etna gonna be there?
Eddie's
yeah.
going. Like, regardless of whether or not I even show up, she's gonna be there.
Yeah,
Etna,
like she's gonna be there to.
are the Mercers coming?
They might not have actually been informed that you were getting here right away. In which you'd just be able to go and find them rather easily enough. Mostly, they didn't really want to draw a lot of attention, or Etney would not have wanted to draw a lot of attention to you, or to anybody, or to you guys as you get here, as she doesn't know the circumstances of which you guys are coming in. So, not probably trying to make a big parade of it.
Hey, Elstra's right here, right now.
Yeah, exactly.
Incredibly vulnerable.
Also, she knows you and that you have a penchant for dramatic flair, so she would not be surprised if she wouldn't be surprised if you wanted to surprise the Mercers with your presence here, anyways.
Ha! She knows me.
Well, yeah. Though that begs the question of would John be there? He's just there.
I don't know. Is John still following Eddie around doing stuff?
Probably, like, it's kind of ended up fulfilling a bit of a mostly just like a supporter kind of role. Like, he's not here to make any plans on anything, but he's here to make sure that nobody tries to fuck with her, because like you're trying to do this big ass thing, and the last thing that he wants is for somebody to try and like assassinate her or something. So pretty much just looking out for her. Plus, it's good to be back in action. So
John is having way more fun than anyone else.
he is. He's like, yeah, this is great. Met up some of my old friends. Wonderful. But no, yeah, he's and also I wouldn't be surprised if it was his idea to not tell Richter and Delia, so that Alstro could surprise them, because like I would not be surprised if the two of them were both like, yeah, no, that sounds like something that she would do. But yeah, so as I had said before, as you guys sail in, your ship slowly makes your way up through the harbor, and as it begins to pull into the dock, as they kind of bring everything together, Connor, you and you, Etney, John, and was Wesleyan going to be there too? Did you say you were going to have him there, or not?
Yeah, Wesleyan and I assume Rinzu, because they're attached to the hip, mouth. I don't know what her parts are touching with.
What?
No.
And so yeah, the two of them will be there too. Would you have given him like the strict thing of don't let me do something stupid?
Yes.
Okay, he will not let you do something stupid. Because obviously re-meeting Alstro is a thing. And yeah, so as you guys as they're heading in, he does turn to you, Connor, and he said, "Are you sure you're ready for this, Connor?"
Connor kind of stares at the ship a little bit. I don't think it really matters at this point.
Yeah, I suppose you're right. And as the ship docks, Jacob, Alstro, you guys see on the pier, you guys see Etney and John waiting at the pier. Expectantly, John is kind of pacing back and forth. Etney just arms crossed with a smile as she watches the ship come in, and not too far from them is Connor standing nearby. You see Rinzu and Westland. Elster, Westland looks a bit more dinged up than the last time you saw him a handful of years ago.
Yeah, and also, Amara told me things, so I'm still kind of like eye face.
Yeah, that's fair. And Connor, you see Alstro.
I don't have arrows. I don't have a gun.
Well, I hope you wouldn't just start shooting her. But no, you see Alstro as as they come and begin to dock. She looks a bit different than before.
I'm definitely just watching and waiting.
And there's obviously a number of other individuals. You can assume that the cowboy-looking guy is likely Etney's second in command. You've heard much about Jacob at this point from both the people who work under him and such. Like you've heard of him, and you would know that he was going to be here as well. And as the ship docks, the gangplank is unloaded, and the individuals in the crew begin to take care of things and unload things. Gosh, at this point would you recognize Warren? He looks a bit different. He did shave off the mountain man beard that he had gathered while he was on the run. Instead, now replaced with just what he more like what the picture itself looks like.
He also hasn't cut his hair since, well,
No. His hair is long and tied back in a ponytail. And he has a patch of red hair on his chin, but the rest of the beard that I had described last week or the last time is not there. But this individual also a few paces behind Alstro as I assume you guys disembark from the vessel and step down towards the ship. And as you guys, I assume, kind of just stare at each other for a second. On the other hand, Etney immediately approaches Jacob and will pull him into a hug.
Hey there, Edney.
It's good to see you again, Jake.
It's good to see you too.
Next time you get sent on clandestine missions, why don't we let me know beforehand, eh?
If the option presents itself, I'll see what I can do.
Appreciate it. And she'll of course turn back and say, Jacob, this is my old friend John. We used to serve in the Mercer Brigade together a very, very, very long time ago. And he smiles and pleasure. John Donner. Nice to meet you. He'll offer you a hand.
Jacob will like take it with with a smile. Jacob Morrow. Pleasure's mine.
And
Any friend of Eddie's is it's a friend of mine.
he laughs and he says, I was about to say the same thing. Though I suppose you're more than just a friend, eh?
Well, second in command. Yeah.
And he nods, and as he looks, he kind of glances up towards the showdown that's happening. He will think we'll have some time to catch up later.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, another note, by the way, you would notice that John is definitely wearing Sons and Daughters teal.
Jake would like look down at that, and the smile would be a little bit wider, like when he actually shook his hand.
Yeah, somewhere along the line, he got recruited. So here we are. It didn't take much convincing.
Wasn't hard. Well, let's see how this goes. Ready to duck for cover when you all are.
And Edney just her expression kind of grows neutral and such, and she says, no, but I feel like this needs to happen.
Oh, yeah, figure so. Especially if if everyone's gonna work together as a big old happy something.
Like Lake is an army.
Family's gonna
Like,
turn out to be
I
the
heard
right word, but something.
every guy. Like fucking.
And as the two of you stand, there's a bit of silence for a moment. And Westland is actually the first one to say something. Welcome home, Alstrom area. It's been a bit.
It has.
Good to see you're walking, Wesley boy. Kestrel says, kind of stepping up in a few paces, Dalstro. And he cocks his head. Do I know you, sir? And shakes his head. No, but I know you. And you were you the rider that found me? And Kestrel nod. Hi, that was me. You're welcome, by the way. I owe you my life. Thank you.
Yes, this is Kestrel, my second in command.
And he steps forward and he offers a hand, and Wesson will take it. Thank you. Truly, I wouldn't be alive if it weren't for you. I guess.
Elster also hasn't broken eye contact with Connor.
Oh, he's not paying attention to you anymore.
Okay.
Warren is watching you as well, Connor. You you look well, Connor.
And you look decidedly not missing.
He sighs and kind of shrugs. And you look decidedly not a prince. A lot's changed over the last year, hasn't it?
Connor takes a hesitant step towards him.
He kind of scratches the back of his head and kind of looks as if he's basically awaiting judgment. Like the kind of sad smile on his face. He looks like he's waiting for the hammer.
And and Connor just and Connor walks over to him and immediately hugs him.
As you approach, he closes his eyes and looks as if he braces himself for a hit, generally. And as you hug him, he shit. And he just, after the initial surprise kind of washes over, he returns the hug. It's good to see you. Really.
I didn't think I was going to see you.
Truthfully, you probably wouldn't have. Without her, he says, gesturing with his head over towards Alstro. My liver probably would have rotted out of my body in some alleyway up in Salam. He kind of looks and as he takes a closer look at the eye patch. Sure did a number on yourself, didn't you?
Oh, I didn't really exactly do this to me.
I know. I know. That wasn't supposed to happen, by the way.
Connor backs off a step and what was supposed to happen?
He shrugs. A lot's changed, Connor. Why do you guys think you didn't run into any trouble on your way to the shore? Why do you think you didn't run into any trouble when you went down to meet the Mercers, or when you floated back up to speak with old Georgie, or cart of supplies? A lot.
That was you, I heard, wasn't it?
Yeah. Sure was. Don't think.
Why hide?
Why? Really? Connor, before you started all of this, if I didn't hide, I'd be dead. That's usually what exile means.
Even after you knew that I was meeting with Etney.
Connor, the only reason I'm here right now is, again, he says, gesturing to her, to Alistair with his head. I guess you could say I wasn't exactly. I don't know if I'm the same person that that you knew back then.
Connor kind of weakly smiles, and I don't think any of us are the same person.
Connor, I don't think you understand.
Then explain it to me.
If the last thing you should, I'm. If I wasn't there, Delphine would still be in power. Who else do you think would have been able to get her out of there? Would have been able to get into the stables to get Ferdinand? Who? That was me too. Bloody hell! I was the one that gave the signal to start the Battle of Brimrad that got your parents killed, Connor. I'm the reason your mother didn't get to her Pegasus. So, you want to know why I didn't want to come and come out of hiding, it's because maybe because I'm a fucking idiot. I'm an idiot, and maybe I just wanted to. Maybe I just wanted to live in blissful ignorance. Maybe hoping that if you didn't know everything that I've done, maybe you'd still have a smile when you think of it. But he kind of just gestures out and looks around. That's kind of off the table now, isn't it?
Connor takes a step towards him again.
What do you look like? Like what's your general demeanor for all this?
Connor looks like he's going in for another hug.
Okay. Mostly if you looked like you were about to like hurt him, Westland would have said something, but if you don't look like you're about to do that.
I mean, if you would have done that, I would have kind of stopped Wes.
Yeah, like
I'm not gonna lie that some things need to be worked out.
he probably like moves his hand forward and you put like a hand on his shoulder and
Yeah.
just shake your head.
Yeah, does he let me get in closer to him?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm shoving him off the pier.
So you so he basically just submits himself to whatever punishment you're about to dole out on him. And you push him and he loses his footing, and the face on him as he stumbles back and like trips off the pier is one of befuddlement and shock.
I'm gonna fucking laugh at him. Princey, I didn't think you had it in ya.
Alistair, what are you doing from like as this happens?
It's like, probably first thought, oh god, can he swim?
Oh yes,
Okay.
or not Westland. Fucking Warren knows how to swim. Don't you worry.
Okay.
And you would know that.
Let's probably just like look between Connor and Warren, but like still like not move because I'm also of the opinion of
And so, as he surfaces a minute later, and his hair kind of flopped in front of his face. He kind of just floating for a second, like kind of takes in what just happened and kind of wordlessly will swim over to the pier and will climb back up it and is very, very soggy. And he kind of just like looks up for a second. You know, he says, kind of wringing out his like the sleeve of his tunic and his cloak. That's not exactly the reaction I was expecting.
Well, maybe if you weren't an idiot. And apparently a coward. And Connor kind of gestures straight over to Ed and he's like, that person actually killed my parents and you think I can't forgive you?
He He looks down for a second. I suppose when you put it that way, it makes me sound like
An idiot. Yeah, I already covered that.
and he he starts laughing, and as he looks up, there are tears. Forming beneath his soggy mop of hair. You're right. I'm I'm an idiot. I'm a coward. I'm all of those things. But I think I'm one thing more than any of that. He says, kind of like slopping his way over to the to you. And
I'm gonna edge away from the side of this platform.
that's fair. That's fair. Um and he looks to you and he says, and that's happy to see you.
Connor just kind of smiles.
And he's gonna he smirks and he's going to close the gap and give you a sopping wet ass hug.
I'm gonna throw you back into me if you don't go with me right now.
And he just laughs and says, "You'll be going with me."
You think so?
Is that a challenge?
You know your sister's here, right?
And he laughs and says, "What? Do you think that would stop me from throwing you into the sea?"
I would like to think it might.
A lot's changed in the last couple of years, Connor. But I suppose I deserved that last one. So you'll just have to deal with this for now. He says, continuing to get you soaking wet in a hug. And he'll pull back.
Connor's grinning like an idiot until he realizes Alstro's still here. And then, like, all the mirth is pretty much evaporated right there.
Ulster was smiling, and then she noticed that Connor was acknowledging her presence once again, and the smile is gone.
And
His face again.
and Warren will look back to her. And he'll step away for a moment. I suppose there's still that elephant in the room, isn't there? And he looks back to Alstro. Looks like it's your turn next.
I suppose so. I suppose I should start it on you for telling me, Connor.
You and I both know it wasn't for you.
I know. And it's not something I take lightly.
So what is exactly that you plan to do, Alstro?
Protect Legala. Protect the world. Not be an idiot anymore.
From people like you?
What'd you say?
I said from people like you.
Yes. Your letter was... And she... the back of her neck. Completely right.
I know. I wrote it.
That said, as for my letter, the tone of it, I was anticipating it might be intercepted. At the time, I didn't want to give away the fact that you had me. Hence the mocking nature of it. Not my brightest moment. That said, it's people like you that So she gulps. Should you have me, I'm in your service. I'm aware that anything I could say would essentially be meaningless. So I will prove my worth.
I thought that's what you were trying to do before, so what's different now?
I aside from the very thing that shunting the entirety of Legal is putting my own actions in perspective and making me foolish and short-sighted they actually were.
I'm glad it only took the toying of roughly 1 million lives for you to realize that.
I did what I did because I thought that that's not what would happen.
But you didn't know what would happen at all, did you?
No. I didn't. Hence the short-sightedness of it all.
So now what? You're just here to help? You have no plan of your own?
I have plans, but I don't want to run off and do wood. As the revolution is a discussion, not one person running off and they think is best. I have ideas that I would, but that's the matter of being able to bring them to the table. If I'm unwanted, I won't. Ultimately, I'm looking to curb my own behaviors by serving both you, Etni, and the other leaders. And not go off and do anything off my own again.
So instead of learning and moving forward, you're just going to do whatever you're told then. Why do you only move in extremes?
I don't think I know how to do anything else. I And she kind of she balls her fists. All I've ever wanted to do is to help. Is to help Legala, to help the people that I care about, and I'm not good at it.
So you're going to put all the responsibility for your actions on other people then?
No.
Then stand up and do better.
Fine. Then I'm going to do whatever it takes to bring Millicent down. That is my objective.
You and half the people on this continent.
Well, I suppose that makes us allies then. And so if we go over what we have available as options in addition to the Zodian forces on the way, I will do my best to cobble together a plan. And I suppose we'll just work from there. But I suppose that's something that can be discussed, not on a pier.
Yeah, you have like an unlimited lifespan to actually learn your lessons now, so...
Yes. And there are some things that most of the people here about all that. Starting with the fact that Arlen might be...
Wonderful.
And Arcanon, and if that's something that the Loyalists can find that problem. Though, we can discuss that when we're not sitting ducks on a pier.
You think we can't protect one pier?
I'm cautious. I'm learning. Anyway, it's good to see the rest of you too. And she looks.
And Etney nods and smiles, and it's good to have you back home.
I'm gonna run up and hug Etney.
And she'll give you a hug as well. And she doesn't say anything, but she definitely like stares at the physical changes that you've gone through for a moment, and for a moment she seems her age seems rather evident on her face just for a split second. And John of course will will give you a hug as well. And I don't know, I think the hair's kind of cool. He shrugs.
Thank you.
It's good to see you again, lass. It's been a while.
It has. That was funny. Given how much your son was glowering at me, I expected you to too.
He kind of just waves that off and Nate glowers at everything. Who are we kidding?
No, he's completely right there.
Yeah. No, that's fair. I'm sure he'll be happy to see you. Though I'm not sure how we'll feel about. And then she looks at the teal.
He shrugs.
Don't
I don't know
worry.
if it'll be a problem for long.
I already have an idea for that. Davey might like it more though.
Red.
Color me interested.
John starts laughing because color puns.
How long until the others arrive?
Should
Just a couple days, yeah.
should be a week or more. That said, I did mean to ask, how are the forces looking right now? Who were you able to get in on this?
We did not gain as many forces out of the Loyalist faction as I would preferred. And he's still got all of her supporters for the most part. The common populace themselves, mixed. As it stands, we're still outnumbered.
Well, the Zodian forces are coming.
I've heard.
Oh, and she just kind of gives you a look. I wish I could see the look on both Millicent and Alexis's face when that ship makes dock.
Have we heard about the Atlas? I feel like that's something that we're definitely got ahead about.
You've heard that they have a massive dreadnought at the head of it.
But how massive?
I'm sure you assume like a large galley.
Yes, well, doesn't seem like Zodians do anything in half measures.
Yeah. Alistair gives you diameters that she knows.
Yeah, it's big. It's very big.
Connor blinks slowly.
And then, as much as I know about the forces, goes over like the numbers. And how much do I actually know about that? Would I?
You would know roughly how many people.
Yeah,
Even just by
yeah,
knowing
so-
like the crew.
Is
Give run through of the numbers.
is Orion an idiot?
I
Sounds
Right,
more like a
this is-
savior to me. Etney says, though we're going to need a bigger pier if the boat is even half the size that you're saying.
And more
Savior,
likely purple.
yes, by chance alone. He had absolutely no idea how this would be playing out.
Well, I think it's one of those situations where you don't look a Pegasus in the mouth.
To be fair, I don't think you really knew how this was going to play out either, Connor.
No, I thought it might be dead by now.
That said, perhaps I can do something in the meantime to rally up the remainder of the rebel forces. Once I made Doc, I was going to make plans to see who from the council I could get their support of.
Etney will nod and says, that sounds like a sound plan. We've unfortunately had little contact with them before. Well,
Oh.
right now.
I stand by what I said about them.
And what is it you said about them?
I don't really see them much different than Magisters.
I think their assistants. I'm going to make it abundantly clear that they're not going to be the ones gods anymore.
That would be nice.
Yeah, you let me know how that goes.
Well, I've been working my life getting climbing the ranks, so she shrugs. To try, at least. And worst case scenario, they'll do what they continue to do.
Maybe a philosophy you should stop using in your life is it doesn't hurt to try.
I suppose it depends on the thing.
What about Flint? Any word from him?
I don't think he likes me much. He damn sure doesn't trust me. Not that I blame him.
Yeah, that one's pretty fair. No offense, man.
He doesn't seem to
Connor
trust
just kind of
me.
shrugs and is like, I
Actually,
Of course.
Etney will probably take this moment to officially introduce Jacob and Connor as well.
I keep hearing about you.
Yeah, and you.
You don't say. Warren says, looking at Jay. You heard something about the former prince. What a surprise!
Yeah, I'm a
Just-
fairly popular guy.
Yeah, I don't have that particular problem. Well, so are you one of us now, or now we one of you? Details have been scarce.
Sorry, you cut out right before details have been scarce.
Oh, so are you one of us, or are we one of you in regards to this whole thing?
Oh, the answer is both and neither.
Well said. Etney says,
Yeah, all right, good fucking answer. So, and like Jacob's just gonna glance over at Etney. You, we're sure about this, right? Well, you're sure about this.
she nods. There's no way that this war would have ended well.
That's for fuck's
At
sake.
least by joining forces together with all Legolans that wish to bring this fight to conclusion, we can move the talk of change from the battlefield to a more civilized discussion. I'm of the mind that which I don't believe I'm the only one who would believe this, but I would much rather hammer out such details with Connor than Millicent.
Well, yeah, it's hammering out details rather than being hammered out.
I pride myself in my ability to not be her.
Good, that's a good trait to have. It's good to see a year hasn't changed too much, Andy.
Oh. Speaking of, I have a present from Cassiopeia, before I forget.
No shit.
And she takes out the letter.
Oh shit!
Who are you handing that letter to?
Just kind of. She's not handing it to anyone right now.
Oh,
She just
okay.
has it out. And she explains what it is.
And
I'm going to look at Westlin.
and Westlin like blinks for a second. My
She nods.
Would you have explained the details involving Amara?
Are we in a safe company right now?
Yeah, I mean, I think so. It's pretty much just you guys.
I feel like we cleared out the docks. Of
Yeah, and like,
yeah. So this is probably the safest place to discuss this. But yeah,
Seems that one of us was a spy over like all along.
yeah. And so, yeah.
wait. So my uncle, I hardly know him to begin with. I only met him a handful of times back when my mother was still alive.
Well, I mean, if this is done right and carefully, it means we could potentially rob Alexis Blackwild of his assets. And then that's one less problem out of the equation.
I don't know if it's going to be that easy in the slightest. He has a pretty good stranglehold on his assets.
But feasibly, even if we were able to challenge it, even just a little bit, just enough chaos to cause some trouble would be worth it.
And something that might additionally happen, now it's a long shot, but should things get difficult enough for Alexis, his reputation is dragged through the mud, Millicent might sell him out to save herself.
I'm not sure I see that one happen as much.
It's a possibility.
It's a very distinct possibility.
Yeah, I never met the asshole, so I guess you guys are no better than I.
I have, Weston says.
Yeah, you're Alexis's boy, right?
He nods.
Yeah.
Due to circumstances, that's not exactly a connection that I can rely on in any capacity any longer. Around the time that he gestures up to his, you could see the scar like over.
Yeah, I heard you tried to kill him.
It was complicated.
Well, if at first you don't succeed.
Speaking of Rinzu, I'm glad to see you made out all right.
Should nod.
Liao, the Fanrongese ambassador, the one that took Rinzu, is still is staying in Arcanon. I would not be surprised if she was using this opportunity to try and dig her talons into my father further.
I wouldn't be surprised if she wasn't.
My uncle's claim to the title and the name might be over, but he does still have a great deal of resources. Even if we were only able to capitalize on his own resources and not even be able to cut off anything as far as father is concerned, such a thing would be, well, very useful. I certainly didn't know that I had a cousin, however.
I don't think he knows he has a daughter.
That is,
That's definitely something.
Equal parts fucked up and hilarious.
That discussion's way too much right now.
She did mention that it was Amara, right?
yes.
Yeah. And I've
Rinzu
been
kind of just looks a little bit like still shocked at the fact that Amara.
And either way we plan on playing this, I took the opportunity for the trip to Okeanos to prepare her should she want to play the part of a noblewoman, since that's something that I have experience doing. She rubs the back of her neck sheepishly again.
You're talking about Amara.
Yes. Quite competent. Also quite talkative. She
She threatened to stab me.
gives Rinzu a look.
There's just going to be the look of I'm going to kill her.
I feel like I'm missing something.
Amara is one of Davian's mercenaries that we found in Zodia.
Huh. I suppose I'll meet her rather soon then.
Maybe you don't want to, though.
I believe that's something best that Rinzu explains.
He swallows.
She gives Westlin a look. That's actually quite cold. And then looks over to everyone else. All right, we should probably head back. There's plenty of work to do.
Yeah, it's catching up. And also to be done. By the way, Edney.
Yes, Jay.
While I was in Zodia, well, okay, forewarning, Alistair sort of fucked me here, but I don't have blackmail on a Blackwild, but I did get you something.
Oh,
And
you certainly didn't need to do anything like that.
going to far off places, and I got something for Vic and Flint while I was over there, you know. But here. And Jacob produces socks.
She'll take them and like laughs, and this is exactly the kind of gift that I would expect to get from you, Jacob Mara.
I mean, it's practical, and you know, they're warm, and Zodia is cold as fuck. Imagine their hosiery is, you know, comfortable.
And they're teal.
They are.
Well, I much appreciate it. They look comfortable. They're very soft.
Yep. So yeah, that's that. And all right, we can.
Thank you, Jake.
Anytime. Yeah.
I suppose we should probably get you caught up on everything else. There's been a lot happened, even just in the last month since you've been gone.
Yeah, be nice to have a heads up. Get caught up on everything, including, well, yeah, business and also, how certain some ones are doing.
And she nods. I suppose I've been a bit curious of that myself. And she'll look over and she'll give Connor and Alstra a nod, and I'll catch up with the rest of you later. And yeah, you guys will go, and she'll catch you up on like everything, such. So
Okay. I tell you, no word from Vic for some time.
nope, not yet.
When was last time you got any word from her? Or
The last time that you got word from her was probably the last time that you got word, which was probably not too long.
Before I
Probably there was probably a message sent back to you from the one that you sent to her after you left, and that's the last time that
you try and get in touch with her.
she nods. We've been trying to contact the Ridge Riders for this for the last few months since Connor's declaration. Unfortunately, the only one that has had any actual success was Jack. He got a message back from one of his old comrades, but other than that, we've not heard anything. We've sent some folk that way, but the area is crawling with loyalist soldiers.
Yeah.
They've clearly doubled down on protecting protecting their assets there.
Yeah. Yeah, Flint's probably just had to go pretty deep underground. Well, I'm assuming once we get everything together. Oh, finish what you were saying.
I know that she'll be all right.
She's smart and she's a damn good shot. And she got Flint looking out for her. Old Nag still got some uses for himself. But, once we get everything squared away with this new setup of ours and I'm caught up, I can maybe make my way over there. See if I can flush the old bastard out.
She nods. That's actually something that I was going to suggest. We've prepared our reconnaissance has shown that in addition to the fact that skirmishes began to break out between our people and the loyalists, or our people and Millicent's forces.
Mm-hmm.
Beyond that, and the blockade that they've attempted to set up around the ports that we have control over. There are a number of theaters that we'll need to address. I believe that we're planning on having a meeting once Orion's once the Zodian King's sizable force returns with the rest of the others who are expected. Once they return, I believe that we'll be outlining those theaters, but one of them is the West. Getting in touch with Flint, trying to take the iron grip that Millicent's people have over the factories and production facilities there will be important.
Well, I figure I know where I'm heading then.
I wish I could join you, truly, but my presence will be needed here and on the front lines.
Of course, you do what you gotta do. I'll I'll say the usual to Vic when I see her.
I'll see her again soon. I'm sure. I'm sure by the end of this. It'll be good to see her.
Yeah. Yeah. Well. Missed you. By the way.
I've missed you here too, Jake. It's been a chaotic couple of weeks. Or months, rather.
Yeah. Well, I imagine the missing me is gonna be quick. You're gonna don't give it some time. You'll remember how much of a god awful pain in your ass I am.
Why do you think I'm sending you to the West? She says with a smile. Like a joking smile.
Yeah, that's fair. Make me Flint's problem. Well, unless there's anything else, I guess we should probably catch up with the rest of them.
Yeah. Let's go ahead and do that. I imagine the other captains will much want to see you again. Just watch out. Sting's been in a rather cross mood since she went head to head with that ambassador.
Would I have known she lost a fucking eye on that?
No, but we'll just find out now. She'll
about to
she'll
find
tell
out.
you about that. Yeah.
Oh shit.
Yeah, she's a little pissed, but she'll be fine once she can absolutely make sure that she can murder the shit out of her. But yeah.
We'll try and arrange that, and I'll just, make sure to have a human shield nearby.
And yeah, so you guys get appraised of the situation and such. During all of that, by the way, Martin, aka Reynard, was taking care of some things on the ship, but he will very as the ship kind of unloads its things is reprocessed back into the fleet that you guys have. He will largely just kind of disappear into Dalhurst and will eventually bounce by the end of the day. So if you were trying to find him, you would want to do so quickly.
Yeah. Probably gonna want to. Or at least yeah. If I can catch the motherfucker for a brief chat.
And chances are you would. You'd be able to find him taking care of a couple of things, making sure that some messages are going to be sent to where they need to go.
All right. And yeah, Jacob would just, mosey up to him.
And as he exits one of the rooms that he's in, as he leaves the building and you see him, and as you approach, he doesn't stop walking, but he kind of matches your pace as you go.
Yep.
Jacob Morrow.
Martin.
I trust you are not. I trust you didn't approach me simply to speak of pleasantries.
Not exactly. I figure you're probably going to be making your way out pretty soon, correct?
He nods.
Yeah.
I've been gone for a couple of months, and I need to make sure that the operations that I set forward in Brimrad have been.
Yeah, that's fair. You give any thought to our previous conversation, like I asked?
Which part in particular, Jacob?
The part I asked you to think about.
I remember what you told me. But some people aren't meant to be at the table, Jacob.
So you said. I mean, There's also the fact that well, there's other folks from your hometown nowadays. You ain't exactly alone anymore.
That is a problem for another day.
Hmm. Call it a problem. Others might see it as, I don't know, a boon, a blessing.
Other people might, wouldn't they? He smiles.
You know, one of these days, you and I are gonna sit down, and there's gonna be an exchange of stories. I learned a little bit from, well, from one of the other folks, and Alstro's told me a little bit. I have peaceable theories. I think I can imagine why you are the way you are.
And I can imagine the reason that you're the way that you are, Jacob Morrow. I'm sure confirming such theories would be an enlightening discussion, perhaps one that the two of us may have time to have sometime.
Yeah, I'd like that. See, all that conversation got me thinking. Uh, I ain't giving up.
What are you not giving up on, Jacob Morrow?
You insufferable prick.
He stops and he shakes his head for a second. You know, Jake, there are plenty of folk in this world who could use the oversight of a man as singularly persistent as you are. I dare say those people would benefit much more than I would from your efforts.
Yeah, we disagree on that. Yeah.
I
Whatever you
suppose I
want.
should be touched that you concern yourself with my well-being so much.
Yeah. Feel whatever you want to feel about it. And I won't lie, there's a certain ain't all touchy feely hugs and smiles. There's also
You
some
you wound me, Jacob. I thought we were starting to become rather close.
well, yeah, we'll yeah, we'll see. Uh, I wouldn't put it like that. It occur as it did to me that I doubt there are very few who know the things I do in regards to you and your character.
And
I'm making my intentions clear to you is all. Things are gonna get hectic, but you're gonna be seeing a decent bit more of me, I think.
I don't know whether to take that as a threat or a promise, Jacob.
Unlike some people, I'm pretty straightforward when I'm threatening them. Enigmatic has never been exactly my style or my talent.
So I've noticed.
Yeah,
You
that's
are
it.
a singularly interesting man, Jacob Morrow.
And now I don't know whether or not that's a compliment or the exact opposite.
Hmm.
Or both. You do seem to be a fan of both.
I wish you good fortune, Jacob Morrow. I trust you will ensure that your commanding officer, Alstromeria, and all of the rest will be in good hands.
Yeah, I'll do what I can.
Then I suppose I will see you around.
Don't be a stranger.
And he'll nod his head and will turn to leave.
Yeah, Jacob will watch him go. And with a wary smile, we'll then go about the rest of his business. But yeah, I'm going to nag that guy into mental health. Because that's how that works.
He's fine.
Yeah.
All right. So we'll go ahead and take a quick 5-minute break, and then once we do, we're gonna make landfall. Because I imagine everybody else kind of got to do all of that. I actually. Yeah, we'll take a quick 5-minute break. There might be one other thing I need to do because Warren still has to meet his sister and his dad. That might be a fun thing to do beforehand. Also,
Close my eyes.
Let me tell you about how I'm literally dragging him there.
where they were at, they're probably at some place, just overseeing the training and upkeep of like some of your soldiers and such.
I 100% have some kind of like magic chain linking him to me so that he cannot escape.
He probably isn't going to.
I
Probably.
don't care. I'm not taking these chances.
My God, did he make a sexual comment about that?
Most likely, like if you fucking like magically handcuffed yourself to him, he
Man,
probably was just like, really, what did I do to deserve such an honor?
he gets a pointed look, and then Connor starts walking.
What did you expect me to do? You cannot tell me that that such an action is not rife and waiting to be exploited. Don't you ignore me? And proceeds to basically that. And but yeah, no, that obviously stops at some point. Um, but yeah, he as you get closer, he kind of quiets and kind of takes a deep breath. Nothing like diving right in, though I guess it helps if you get shoved. He says, looking over at you.
Doesn't it though? And then I swing open like tent flap door thing.
And Anna and George who are speaking over a war map. They stop and they Connor, good. I want. And as they look up, he stops. George interrupts himself. Warren. And his a shocked expression on his face. He kind of stands up to his full height, pushing himself off, like leaning on the table, like looking at stuff. And Anna says, "Is that you really you, Warren?" And Warren shrugs. Last I checked. And the two of them come out from around the table, and George walks, and he strides up and he wraps his son in a hug. I had prayed that you might find your way here. Through all of this. It's good to see you, my son. It's good to see you too, Dad. It's been a while. Anna smiles. That was you following us, wasn't it? He nods. Yeah, that was me. I had a feeling, Anna says. And she's gonna give her brother a hug too. And as she pulls away, she grabs his ponytail. What's all this though?
Oh, thank God I wasn't the first one to say it.
And she laughs and says, "You weren't trying to compete with me, were you?" That wasn't it at all. I was just, well, I couldn't be recognized. So I just, well, I didn't really worry so much about cutting my hair, and George just kind of smiles and he looks over to you, Connor, and Where did you find him?
I honestly didn't. Austro brought him with him. Her.
I suppose I was always curious if something like that would have happened. And Anna crosses her arms. I had a feeling she knew something. I guess can't blame her. Ultimately, that bitch still lied to me. Anna kind of grumbles under her breath. And Warren shakes her head and says, "It was my fault. I'm the one who told her not to tell it. She wanted me to go along with her to. She wanted me to go along with her to Zodia, but well, I suppose I was an idiot and a coward, as has been stated rather recently."
Connor just kind of beams.
Well, George says, there's a convenient thing about being a part of an uprising against the majority of your government. It's that ultimately we get to the rules and rulings that have once enforced certain laws, certain things, need not apply to us if those things are found to be unlawful. And George looks back to you, Connor.
So you can get back on the boat then, right?
Wait, who'd you say that to?
To Warren, obviously.
And he looks at you like, kind of like, honestly, if it might be easier if I just got out of all of your hair, to be honest. And Anna punches him in the shoulder.
God, you really are an idiot.
Welcome back, Warren. George says. I miss you, son.